All right, guys, you're live. Welcome, Taboo Conspiracy and Robert Tozy. Hello, everyone, everybody in the chat. So go ahead, Taboo Conspiracy. It's a pleasure for me to have you here. You
Hey,
have
it's
the
a
word.
pleasure.
Say hello.
Pleasure to be here. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear pretty well.
Oh, awesome. I had to actually go buy a new headset because my last one broke. Issue with children. They play with everything.
I understand, man. I always have trouble with these, wires and stuff. So how's everything, Ben?
Oh, good. I just made a video today and just checking on the comments and stuff like that. It's just fascinating to me. You get the liars that show up, and it rubs me the wrong way now.
Yeah, I know, man. It drains your energy, man. Those people lie, and they keep lying and always lying. All right, Robert. How's everything with you, Robert? Say hello to everyone.
Um, you guys
No,
well.
uh, you're breaking down, Robert.
Let me make sure. Okay, testing one, two, three. Testing one, two,
Okay.
three.
Yeah. Now it's fine. How's everything, Robert?
Everything is great. Yeah, just enjoying the cool weather here for a little while longer in Florida. Had a little rain today. A little, it was starting to warm up, so had a nice, cool, relaxing day. But had to go chase around my animals in the mud.
All right. Now, Ben, if you don't know, Robert is the one, and he totally enhanced this. But this is a new
Oh, that
glitch.
was
It's
your
not the
work.
old one. No. I've told it's on the credits. You know, every time I say this is Robert. He is
Hey, thank
the
you, Robert.
he's
Oh
a
my God!
professional map maker. So man, this is
Yeah, we'll have to hire you. Eventually, we map the entire flat Earth. We'll need a expert cartographer to actually go out and map it for us.
yeah, man. We definitely need. All right, so some shout out here. A lot of people in the chat. So shout out Flat Earth Nurse, always here, faithfully. Mike Smith from Canada. Big hug to you. I got your star. He does some star photography and videos. I'm gonna display next show, okay, Mike? I still have to download them. Have Tater. So many good people here. Taboo, of course. Ramon Gonzalez, Lightning 3000, Justin Johnson, Erica. Hello, banjo players. Yeah. So, guys, we have an interesting show today. We're going to be talking a little bit about fake history. North America, South America, everywhere. Everything is fake, And going to talk a little bit about the size of Australia and especially South America, where I come from. And you know. So Ramon Gonzalez, hello. So I'm gonna display something. So I don't know if you guys. I was talking to Robert just before the show. I want to give a shout out to Matthew Hakim. He was on a debate with MC Toon. There was a whole drama going on. You guys are aware of that?
No,
You're
I
not
don't.
aware?
I don't really keep track of the debates. I actually don't really care for them. I don't
No,
like
I don't.
giving a
I don't.
platform for these jokers that are liars, they're scum, they're sellouts, and I really actually don't.
Yeah,
I despise the fact that everyone's giving them a platform and making them famous, and it bothers me.
exactly. I agree. Matthew is a good friend, so he told me I'm going to be debating MC2. I want you to watch that. And that was the only one that I was going to watch actually because he, sent me the link and everything. And the problem is when they started before in studio, they were in studio. There was like the problem is like MC2. He showed a video with a little kid in a dark basement, and that was bad thing, because nowadays especially in the US with the Pizzagate and stuff, you should not be showing this kind of stuff. And the flat earthers called him out on that. What's that kid doing in your basement? And he got really angry. It wasn't modern day debate. He started screaming, telling the guys modern day debate to remove uh, Matthew. So I do have the video. I'm gonna paste on the the chat if anybody wants to see. So that was the flat Earth drama of the week.
I kind of
All right.
figure anything that comes out of McTuan's mouth is nothing but lies.
Yeah. So I don't like watching these guys. Because they lie, man. I mean, I don't know. They are paid shields, and I don't know. They don't care about their soul.
I
All
think
right.
they might be paying off a debt or a crime.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It might be that. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna share my screen here, and I'm gonna share what I found out this week through uh, through a guy. Actually, he's a historian. He does some alternative history. Okay, so I have this map here, and I talked about this long time ago. Okay, this is some of records of civilizations, like here in Brazil. We have they found a temple for Odin, the Norwegian god. So they found a temple there here, proving that before Columbus ever reached this region, they say all the way from Scandinavia here, and also Azores is a very popular. It's a Portuguese island here. Okay, there's even a U.S. air base here, but throughout history, it's I have people from Azores says, yeah, we have been all over here, for centuries. It's nothing new for them. It wasn't new for them, all those people were sailing. Now I'm gonna play a video now. You guys gonna see how interesting this stuff is. So let's go ahead and watch this so we can get started.
Everybody wants to know about the secret history of North America, so let's start with the 7 Cities of Gold. The 7 Cities of Gold, or 7 Cities of Cibola, are supposed to be some highfalutin Native American legend. No, they're not. And they have more to do with the Knights Templar than anybody realizes. The story of the 7 Cities of Gold is not Spanish, it is not Aztec, it is not even Native American. It's Portuguese. The original versions of the story appear in several places, but very notably among the writing of Ferdinand Columbus, the son of Christopher Columbus. The story goes that around the year 700 AD, the Visigothic kingdom in what is now Spain and Portugal, under King Roderick, was attacked by the Moors from Africa. And to get away from these attacks, some bishops from the area of Porto, Portugal, took their people, their cattle, and their belongings and sailed to the west, where they set up 7 colonies and 7 cities, each one under its own bishop. These became the legendary 7 cities of Antillia. Antillia from Ante Ilia, which means the opposite island, the island on the opposite side of the ocean. Now, fast forward 600 years, and the Knights Templar had taken back Iberia from the Moors. And though the Knights Templar were persecuted and fell in France, they did not fall in Portugal, where they changed their name to the Order of Christ and had their headquarters in Tomar. And here I am in Tomar in front of that headquarters. And there stands a statue to a person called Dom Henrique, or as we know him, Prince Henry the Navigator. Prince Henry was the Grand Master of this Order of Christ, or the Templars, and he sent expeditions all over the world. And there is a story that during his lifetime, one of the Portuguese ships got blown off course, and after many days landed in Antillia. There they made contact with these original colonies, and when they came back, they brought some sand with them. This sand was presented to Prince Henry and the Order and put under metallurgical analysis, and it was found to have a large quantity of gold. Those stories began to circulate and gave rise to the popular mythology about the cities of gold. But even during that time, which was a full generation before Christopher Columbus, Prince Henry was putting out active contracts among the Templar Order of Christ fleet to come and reestablish contact with these lost colonies. And we still have several maps from that era, which is way before Columbus, that actively show North America on Templar maps. On this beautiful map, we see the Templar Cross, and in the area of North America, we see 7 cities marked with bishops' mitres, and it's called Septentrionalis. Now, the term Septentrionalis has been tap-danced around by historians for a very long time because it appears on quite a few old maps for North America. They try to claim that the term was slang, meaning something in the north, as in North America. But the actual literal meaning of Septentrionalis is 7 stars. North America's original name under the Templar fleet was the continent or the land of 7 stars. How the term Cibola came about for the 7 cities of Cibola, it's a corruption of a Latin term scaevola, which means left-handed or on the opposite side of the map. Now, Christopher Columbus knew all about this before he ever set sail, because he had married into a Templar family himself. He was married to Philippa Perestrello, who was the daughter of a high-ranking Order of Christ Templar from northern Italy, who was in charge of the island of Madeira. And Perestrello, as a wedding gift, gave Columbus his library and nautical charts. Now, there's very good reason to believe that Columbus was Order of Christ and was acting as a spy well before any of this, which is probably why he's buried under the Templar cross in Seville Cathedral. I took these pictures when I was there. Now, Perestrello as a Templar is a really interesting character himself because he was married into the Visconti family. And if you know anything about tarot cards, you know that the Visconti tarot deck was one of the earliest Northern Italian tarot decks that spread all of the esoteric knowledge that was encoded Templar knowledge. But that's a story for another video. So, somewhere around the year 700 AD, the Visigoths in Portugal knew enough to sail west that there would be land there that they could escape the Moors and they could set up colonies. And then hundreds of years later, their descendants came back around to meet up with them. So is there any actual evidence for these people being in North America? And the answer is yes. I present to you the mysterious Melungeon people of the American Southeast and Appalachia. The Melungeons were already there long before European settlers showed up in the area. They have Portuguese DNA. They claim to be from Portugal. And their story matches up very nicely with the story of the Visigoths who came over in 700 AD. So there you have it. A bit of a different slant on history. Let me know what you think in the comments and if you want me to keep doing videos like this. These seem to be getting me shadow banned. People's likes and follows are disappearing off my videos. So jump in and make some noise, and then jump in again if they delete it the first time.
Ah, isn't that interesting, man?
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Totally, man. I like it. This guy, he does a lot of alternative history, like he researches. And of course, his work is highly, shadow banned, by what he does.
We get that.
Yeah, we got that. Yeah. He goes after books. He pays thousands of dollars for old books. And actually, one that I have, we talked about was one of his videos talking about the Egyptian tombs in Tennessee, or structures they found in Tennessee as well.
Well, the mounds kind of structures, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. They have ones in Tennessee, like Savannah. It was in Tennessee. It's called Egyptian in Tennessee. It was written by a senator, U.S. senator in the 1800s, and he bought that book for thousands of dollars, and he read, and there's all the details when that U.S. senator went there and they found all those Egyptian structures, So this is, we talked a little bit before. Let me share my screen one more time.
Well, when you figure out that they lied about the flat Earth, I mean, everything becomes suspect, especially narratives, especially about Columbus. And we have a holiday centered around Columbus and the United States, which, as children, we always learned that he discovered that the Earth was round. It's just been later that they've been changing that narrative to the ancient Greeks having figured it out. But anyway, I find it all suspect. I don't believe anything anymore that I read in mainstream articles or anything like that. So I'm glad somebody's challenging all that.
Yeah, yeah. All those books, like there is a book written in the 1300s telling the story of the Mongol people reaching Mexico, you know, and Egyptians reaching North America. Now this stuff about the Visigoth, which makes sense, you know, they were fleeing the Islamic invasion from Europe. They fled west. They went west.
I also think a lot of the slaves that America enslaved, the African American slaves, actually were here originally before, and they didn't come over boats. You know, or they claim that millions and millions of people fit on these boats, but it's ridiculous when you actually look at the story. And so, sorry, but anyway, that story to me is suspect as wow. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. What's your take? What's your take, Robert, on all of this?
Well, it's really interesting about Columbus and the District of Columbia. These monuments that all kind of have this Luciferian look to it. So, was Columbus just a way to memorialize Lucifer, the god Columbia? It's there just seems like a lot of overlap with this. So,
Yeah.
did I wonder if Columbus actually existed, or if it's just a way to memorialize the god Columbia and have some sort of monuments here and landmarks and that type of thing.
Yeah, man, I got you that. All right, so the second video I want to show is also about the U.S. History, and you guys can comment on that. This is short; it's just a minute and a half. Let's show this menu.
So this is the eclectic history of the United States, and I just read through stuff, but this is really, really interesting. This is the Chicago Fire of 1871 and 1872. For 2 days, Chicago was burning. Solid masses of stone, iron, and brick, making scarcely more resistance to the fierce heat than the lightest wood buildings. Iron, stone, and brick were just burning like wood. And then again in Boston, granite and brick were laid to ashes. So any fires that are happening now that are just destroying everything, it's been happening for years. The eclectic history of the United States. From 1881. Talks about the Vikings being here first. Talks about a civilization that lived in Chicago, the mound builders that were of a different race than the Indians. They had like 5-6 story houses and gardens. Wow.
Isn't that interesting, man? I mean, it's amazing, man. I wish I could, have all those 1800, books because it's just amazing.
Someday I'd love to know the real history. I was quite a history buff for a lot of time in my life, and so it'd be really fascinating to know what the real history is, because all I can say is I think it's all lies now, and I'm really happy that guy's going through those old books.
Yeah. Don't you collect any old books, Robert?
Whenever I get my hands on them, I haven't gotten too many, but I've been pretty much, if I hear some kind of old health remedy type book, or I don't know, I keep buying these books I haven't gotten to. I've got a whole stack of them. I've got some stuff from Victor Schauberger. What else do I have here? Yeah, just a load of them. I can't even keep track of how many I got that I have to get through. So yeah, I think that's where we're gonna find a lot of truth It's certainly not from the pharmaceutical industry or the news. So I think it's going to be a while of rebuilding before we get a good picture of what went on. But the idea of granite and stone burning, that is really interesting. Could it be
It
like
is.
what went on in Hawaii and California and a lot of other places where you're seeing 15-foot rivers of aluminum that how is that possible when trees 10 feet away aren't burnt?
I just wanted to show you, we just had a brand new baby last week, and so I just wanted to share our brand new baby girl.
What's her name?
Congratulations.
She's sleepy.
Vivian.
What's her name?
Mhm. Congratulations, Ben, for you and your wife. Okay.
Nice,
Blessings
because
from
I
the
actually
Lord.
have 4 weeks off from work, so I can just sit here and kind of enjoy the children and take a little bit of time.
All right. So Robert was talking about California and Maui. Have you heard about Chile this past week?
No.
It was bad, just like in Maui, just like it. Cars melting and trees standing there, nothing happened to, but tire cars melting and all that stuff. Yeah, just past this week, man. Just as bad.
I didn't hear about that
Wow.
one.
Yeah, I have. I can share one picture here only, but
Remember that
I don't
recent
know.
Acapulco one where it was just like devastated and it didn't even make the news anywhere?
Okay, I'm gonna just show this one. I don't want to. I don't know how far we can go with this stuff, but this is in Chile this week. Okay, 5 fires, four massive forest fires, blah blah blah. No forest fires, you see all stuff like that, and we wonder why, why Chile, why now, crazy.
Seems like it's
Always,
burning with the cheap houses and the poor residents. And the
yeah,
really nice
always
houses
by the sea, like California and Maui, and you know, weird, you know.
I
So
saw they
it's
have
interesting.
the UN forestry maps where they want to reforest. I think there's going to be a lot of overlap. I know California, and they said that Hawaii was slated to be a 15-minute city, as was Acapulco, according to the World Economic Forum's plans. So uh, that's that's something.
Yeah, man. Right. Now I know Robert is in Florida. Where are you, Ben? Where are you in the U.S.?
I'm currently in Utah. I was actually
Okay.
recently trying to move to Tennessee, but I couldn't get the. Anyway, long story. I
Okay.
have some land there,
Okay.
trying to get a house over there, but still haven't been able to get there. But I'm still stuck in
Let's
Utah
see. Okay.
against my will.
Yeah, I got you. I got. So shout out to Guiana Spice. So Robert, if you want anything to present, man, if you want to take the time now, it's all yours.
Sure. So actually, this is something that I thought Ben would like. Uh, can I share my screen here?
Yes, yes, just you
Oh,
know,
I see present. Okay.
I don't see the link for your screen yet.
I'm figuring it out here.
Yeah, just go share screen, entire screen.
Got it.
Yeah, I got you now. Okay.
All right. So this is the famous 701 mile photo, and boy, I was in the chat with some of the trolls going back and forth, and they were getting venomous about this one. Oh, that was taken from the wrong angle. Oh, nothing lined up.
Mm.
So what you could see I did here was I overlaid the photo on top of the map. Now this is of course in the North Pole azimuthal equidistant, and I just you can see the, let me see if I can make it look clear. So on the bottom here, it is the viewing location, the camera location. And up top here, let me see. No, I haven't used this program in a little while. So give me a second here. All right. So anyway, these are all the mountains that were listed in the picture, these red dots. So I set it up. Hopefully this makes sense. I set it up so that the dotted line is where they would extend up to the horizon if you were looking from the lower location point. The idea was to see if each of those map points in the photo aligned with the actual mountains. Now, so you could see that they all do, like perfectly.
Nice.
Uh,
Yeah, I spent hours on that one. Just, I mean, seriously, I spent hours looking at all the angles and everything just to, because I was a little skeptical at first, and so I looked at all the angles myself. I wasn't trying to just, skew any facts in favor of the flat Earth or anything, but all of those lined up, and I haven't cited it much anymore just because no one else has reproduced it, and so I'm waiting for someone else to kind of reproduce that photo and then make it, a fact versus just more speculation. But I don't know. They line up.
Yeah, and the idea that all of them are just clouds right along this, imaginary horizon line that we're just somehow, it's really just ramping up from what is it, 45 miles below. And we have a perceived line that looks just like a horizon with clouds imitating the exact shape and location of each of those mountains. It's just another coincidence, of course. That's crazy flat earthers.
But that I don't know if you saw that video I did with the 800-mile LoRa transmission. That I mean, it was from sea level to sea level, 800 miles, and it's supposed to be line of sight according to the official model, and it's just so much evidence. And then what's getting hard for me is that there's so much evidence that my videos take too long to make, because you're just like, oh, no, I want to add this and I want to add that, and you keep going, and it makes it so overwhelming that how do you communicate these people that have never or maybe just start looking into the flat Earth. And so but yeah, thanks for double checking on that.
And I'll tell you one other thing about this. You see this little outcropping of rock here. The globe trolls were saying that it was. What was it?
What are you referring to?
Let me show you here. Can I select? Where's? Yeah. Here we go. No, not that. This right here, that little outcropping of rock in front of the photographer, kind of looks like a little triangle at the very bottom.
Well, I think I know what you're referring to, but it's not visible on this, but it's okay.
Okay, let me see here.
Yeah, and I'd be careful about putting that picture up on the screen, or you'll get nailed with copyright strikes.
It's got enough different things on it, so
it doesn't matter. It's crazy. They're insane about it. A couple channels have gotten taken down over this.
Oh, you're kidding?
Nope.
Oh wow. Okay. So anyway, this very bottom piece here, you can see that now for sure. That little outcropping of rock. I found that in Google Earth, and it lined up, also perfectly in the direction that we're looking right now. So super interesting.
Wow, 700 miles right there. Yeah. So, Ben, if you want to, place links on the chat of all those videos, Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, do it. Quick shout out to David J. Carroll. He has a new video out today, and I want to also place a link. Dave, I have invited him to be here a couple times, but he says he would rather speak through his songs. He does some amazing Flat Earth related songs, and he just released one today. So I'm gonna place the link here for the people. Shout out to Vika. He's in the house. He's saying hello to every one of us. And there you go. So here is David J. Carroll's new song. The link is in. Okay, it's in the chat. So you guys, if you have the time, please check it out. All right, one more thing I wanna share here with you guys. So we're supposed to be, a lot of people ask me about, wow, what's the size of uh, Australia? Okay, what's the size of Australia? All that stuff. Well, we got to consider that since Robert is the one who can really talk about it more than anybody because he's an expert in this, but our projections depict the continents differently. And I have here too Robinson projection, which was new to me. This equal Earth. Here you see how more elongated South America is. And we have this one, little bit more, and this is the famous Wagner. It's named Wagner. It's a little bit different, but it's all the Gall Peters. This is the Gall Peters. You see how crazy it is. And the Gall Peters projection was adopted by the state of Massachusetts, and I think the schools in Boston are teaching kids not with the Mercator any longer, but with this Gall Peters projection. Okay, so I have a problem when they say, "Well, what's the size of Australia, whatever." But we know in Brazil that Brazil is much wider than longer. Okay, and some Brazilian cartographers have brought this up. And now this is, so I'll show this image right here. Now we don't know exactly the numbers. This is wrong. Okay, this is supposed to be 4,000, but for some reason they elongated more. You see that Brazil seems to be stretched down more than wider, and the reality is matches more like the Gleason's map, and not the way the globe has it. All right, so the whole South America is stretched down. Okay, so what's the size of Australia? Well, the problem is, in my opinion, okay, and I went to Photoshop. I don't have Photoshop in this computer, but I recorded my screen. So what I did, okay, I took this to Photoshop, and I believe this is what's happening here. And this guy, shout out to him, Immune to BS. He made this video a long time ago. Since we don't have 90 degrees on the globe, they had to stretch down, just like I'm doing here. That's basically what they did to fit the globe model, to close the ball, the bottom of the ball. Okay, so they stretch it down the continent. So Australia might not be exactly. Oh, people say, Australia on the Gleason's map is too wide, but on the globe is actually too stretched down. So I brought it back a little bit to look like the way it's displayed on the Gleason's map. So if we take it back, perhaps this is the correct size of Australia. So why? Because as I was telling you guys, I'm going to bring up this map, which I like it. It's the Abzaid map. So this black area here, he calls the South Circle. We have actually up to here, the white, all the, to have 90 degrees on the globe from the equator, they had to stretch down. So they stretch everything from 70 to 75 down to 90 degrees to be able to make the ball Earth. And that's why the continents, especially South America, is so elongated, stretched down. So what's the real size of those continents? I don't think we know. I don't know. What's your opinion, Robert, about it?
Yeah, that's the big problem. We're using their conventions, their measurements. We have no way to um, really put a tape measure on it. Or it's super interesting. I mean, even driving, you'd have to have a perfectly straight line, or be able to correlate your location in reality with a map, and all the maps are made by them. So uh, I think it would be a lot of work to figure this out, um, but it's going to be nearly impossible because a lot of these areas, especially in Australia, are off limits. I think there's a large section um, that's a no-go zone. I don't know if I don't know what percentage, but
Oh, that's
maybe it's a
fascinating.
better argument.
It
They
Sorry.
seem to
is.
do that with areas like Antarctica and places like that. Make no fly zones, no go zones. But that's interesting. I'm a big fan of Hervé Rabonis. I don't know if you guys have been following his work at all
Yes,
on my
yes, he's
channel,
good.
but he's done quite a bit of work to come to the realization, in addition to his sailing across our flat Earth several times, is that distances in the south are the actual area land, the area of the land is actually smaller than what they claim, and that distances in the south are slightly bigger, and he has all that information he's been collecting, showing how they've been lying about the roads. They've been squeezing roads and things like that to hide it. And what's difficult is they always complain about Australia, like you said, but there is no road that goes straight east to west across the entire state of the entire country of all this Australia. I wish there were. Then we could, someone could actually time it and do all of that, but we can't do that. So you have to rely on official globe dimensions and official globe GPS and all of that, which is all skewed in favor of the globe. So is it possible to actually get an accurate map? Well, not without spending millions and millions of dollars to hire cartographers and boats and airplanes to go out and do an accurate representation of the flat Earth. But I think that Hervé Raboni is on the right track, and I think he's starting to uncover a lot of the how they manipulated the flat Earth to make it and changed it into a globe. Anyway, that's what I think.
Yeah. And another thing, I was talking to Robert, Ben, just before the show. Uh, I started looking at the Antarctic Treaty on the globe. So this, the 60th south, this is where the Antarctic Treaty, the line, the limit. So everything inside this circle is out of, reach for us. But we still, to get to Australia, to Antarctica, there's a huge amount of ocean here, sea that we, they should have this at least down here to 70, south would make sense, but not 60 south, because see this huge area of ocean here that is off limit.
Yeah,
And
it puts it out of view of any boat as well. So, and that was the point, is that they could have easily defined it to say the land area of Antarctica is off limits or something more easy, but they did it in a way that nobody could actually map it if they wanted to.
Exactly.
You have to be insane or a lying shill to think that there's something that isn't very strange about the Antarctic Treaty and the fact that they closed an entire continent to independent exploration.
Yeah, exactly.
The same with the North Pole. You can't explore over there.
Same thing with the North Pole. Yeah.
And the measurement tool on Google Earth is strange, because you can't even, you would think that, all right, if it's a Gleason's map is the true map, you'd be able to at least measure the area in the North Pole, but that doesn't even work. So is it not flat up there? Is there something with Mount Meru? Is it like a donut?
Yeah, good question. I mean,
yeah.
I still love the Gleason map. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think it's quite accurate, but I still love it. It's a good representation of what we're talking about. But until we have a government budget to actually to enable us to actually go and hire cartographers to actually map the entire area, we're just left to speculation. But even if we spent millions of dollars to map the entire Earth, would that be accepted by the globe shills and the propagandists? Of course not.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna be able to convince them.
It's not like all of a sudden everybody's going to go, oh, we give up. You guys are right. The Earth is flat. They're never going to do that. So they'll come up with some other stupid reason. And we're just spinning our wheels anyway with them. So that's why I just don't even care to answer to those jokers anymore.
Yeah. Now, these yellow dots means the military bases or research stations, which I don't have all of them. I just have half of them here. It's a lot for a piece of ice floating, as they say it is, a huge. And we have two unclaimed areas here, which makes no sense. Like they claim this area, and why this little area here nobody
Why
wants?
didn't anyone claim that?
Yeah. So when we go to the Gleason's map, we can understand why. That red area there is this area here.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it goes all the way from here, like 90 degrees all the way to 165,
Good luck on getting a pass to go through that unclaimed area.
You
To
can't,
the Antarctic
man.
Treaty. I mean, no one's going to approve that.
No, you cannot. You don't need to cross this area. That's the Antarctic Treaty. You cannot even sail around here. This area, NASA owns. This is where Punta Nemo is. So you can't sail here. Not even here around this area. You cannot. You can only sail around this area here. Are you guys aware of the Antarctica cruise? Also happened this past week. The boat was supposed to leave from Miami, a cruise, a Norwegian cruise, towards Antarctica, and they were not allowed to go, actually. Are you guys aware of this?
No, you're going to have to send me a link to that.
Okay. All right. It's the lady took on TikTok. All the crew, man, the whole people on that cruise went to TikTok and started making videos. They paid a lot of money to go to Antarctica, right? Just to the shoreline, of course. And the last minute, they were told the captain was not allowed to actually go there. So they were here, I think, in this. They did. I don't think they reached the South Shetland Islands. They were around here, Falkland Islands, and they say, well, they are not giving us permission to cross, this line and go to Ontario, and we paid for that. Oh, that stuff. So it's
maybe they could get enough chemtrails out there to hide the fact that there was no 24-hour sun in the winter. Well, their summer.
Right.
Well,
they
one
should
time
have 24-hour sun right now, right?
Well, anyway, one time I got on I tried to book a passage on one of, everybody, all these propagandists, they always send me these links to, oh, you can book a cruise and thousands of people are going to Antarctica. It's absolutely wrong. It's not true at all. Very few cruises are actually going over there, and they just go to like those little small outskirts there areas. But I actually tried to book a cruise. I brought out my credit card and got on their website and tried to pay for a cruise, and it didn't work. And it wasn't that my credit card was declined. The website did not work. It just went around in circles. And what cruise company would have it that you cannot actually pay for your cruise? I mean, you go bankrupt in no time. And I just thought that was pretty hilarious that here is this one of these links that one of the propagandists gave me, and I couldn't actually even purchase a ticket to get on that cruise. And that's what I think a lot of these things are. They'll you can buy a ticket, they'll put you on, and I'll say, oh, sorry, that got canceled. Then you just wasted, they'll give you a refund, but you just wasted money on airfare and everything else.
Yeah.
And what
So,
about all these,
I mean,
propagandists kept saying they're going to fly an airplane across Antarctica? What happened to that guy? And we always get these. And remember that one guy that stole all everybody's money with that Antarctic
yeah,
flight?
yeah, man.
It got canceled as well. I mean, and of course the propagandists don't come out and go, well, that's really strange that they would do that. They don't ever question. It's like, oh, that's perfectly normal.
I remember, yeah, that guy. I forgot his name. Sapien, something Sapien.
Yeah.
What's his name? Sapien.
Yeah,
Something
you're right.
Sapien. Yeah, man. $19,000, man. He paid for that, and
And they'll
crazy
keep
stuff.
doing it. They'll keep having little things. Oh, I'll show all these flat earthers. I'm gonna fly across, and they'll never have another video about it saying, hell, for some strange reason, the FAA wouldn't allow us to do that. It must be too
Yeah,
cold, right?
the cold, man. Crazy, man. I mean, Canada, I think was colder than a lot of people posted videos say, man, it's like 90, I don't know, 50 below in Canada this winter. So what's colder than in Canada? Greater Sapien. Somebody have the Greater Sapien. This guy disappeared. I haven't heard of him.
That was pretty bad that he
I
ended up with
think
all that money.
he figured out Earth is flat, I guess.
Is that like
Yeah.
something from Homo sapien? Like he's a greater sapien?
Yeah, that's why he implied that he was more intelligent.
Wow. He
Yeah.
has a high opinion of himself.
Not really, man. He paid $19,000. Actually, it wasn't his money. He made like his supporters to pay.
Now,
Oh,
if the globe were real, this would never
this
happen.
wasn't the pilot?
Exactly.
I thought that was the pilot.
No, that pilot, the Baldy, what's his name? What's his name? What's his name? He said his company was flying from Argentina to Perth. We could book a flight with him, and when Jaron tried, there was no way to do it. I forgot his name and forgot his channel.
And his videos are still highly recommended, at least on my feed.
Yeah, they do recommend, man.
Despite the fact that it totally turned out to be false, never happened. The guy's a liar. That's why I'm so fed up with these scum. And so what I tell them, because I ban so many of them on my channel.
Oh man,
and they
I
always
forgot
complain
the name.
about it. And it's like, well, as soon as you can get NASA to allow me to comment on their videos, I'll allow you to comment on mine.
Right. I'll see if I find him. I have him. Let me see if I find him.
Sorry.
Right.
It's unbelievable how much the trolls infiltrate, though. And what I noticed about the post with the pilot, where he made the offer, the trolls all clogged up the feed, so you couldn't even go in there and say, "Hey, I'm interested." I think it maxes out at 500 comments or 550, something like that. So you couldn't even go in there and ping them. And I think it's such an elaborate scam they have. It's that they really have so many angles covered. It's almost impressive if it wasn't so evil.
Yeah, it wasn't so evil. So since both of you guys are Christians, I can say that. I mean, I don't have any problem with flat earthers who aren't Christians. I mean, everyone has his or her own journey. But the problem that I have is that, like, we had a Brazilian flat earth channel, great channel, man. For 8 years, he did excellent work. And now he went to the other side. He wasn't a Christian. And man, I mean, it's like, how much did he get paid to do that? Because he's lying now. He's lying, a lot. And you see, like, when I don't know, I don't want to force anybody into, accept the Bible or whatever. But if you are not, I mean, you guys understand what I mean. You got to be faithful to the truth. Because if you're just a flat earther, but you don't believe the biblical truth that there will be a judgment or whatever, you can flip sides anytime, because it's all for money. You guys know what I mean? Like, you have to be a foundation. That foundation is the Christian truth, Jesus Christ. That's my idea. I don't know what you guys think
Well,
about it.
I would have to say that there are a lot of non-Christian flat earthers that are still believe in truth, that are going to stand up for it no matter what, and they're not going to be sell out or whatever. And so I don't want to say it's exclusive to the Christian faith, but for
Right,
me,
right, right.
it's the truth is I guess I don't want to say it's like a religion for me. I mean, and for me, I didn't ever from the beginning. I've tried not to include money or trying to raise money or get donations. And I'm just speaking for myself. I'm not condemning anyone else, but just for me, I didn't want to make money the center of it, because what if I found out information that was contrary to what my original beliefs were, and I didn't want to be like held to any belief based on finances. But now it's with my Christian faith, I really have to sell out not only my principles, but sell out my savior. And
Yeah, yeah,
I can't do that. And so I don't care what the paycheck is, $1 million or whatever, it ain't gonna happen. Not say we're all susceptible to temptations and things, but at least I do. For me, I have that foundation that I'm just not going to give up that easily.
yeah. That's the thing, I mean, because if you don't, I mean, you can still sell out. Judas did, but the consequence is much. You got to think twice. But if someone does not have this foundation and the money is good, they just cross to the other side. I found a guy.
I don't know what about the rest of you, but I'm kind of curious because I know for me, when I discovered the flat Earth, my worldly life kind of came to an end. All the money I was making, everything. Also, now I was in more financial problems. I started living more paycheck to paycheck. Just everything kind of changed when I started abandoning that old life and moving towards the flat Earth. And there is that verse in the Bible in Matthew where Satan tempts Jesus and says, bow down and serve me. I'll give you all of these kingdoms. And that is the way to get rich in this world. And if you do the opposite, it doesn't work out. It's kind of the opposite where things become more difficult, and more financial troubles. I just see what it seemed for me. I'm not saying that's for everybody, but that's what it seemed for me. And I had just somebody recently. Only a few people know about this, but somebody called the Child Protective Services on me, and
Wow.
I assume it was a family member that disagrees with my belief system, and I'm just getting so tired of it. It's coming from every angle that, by the way, the best approach to, I am an attorney, but the best approach to handling Child Protective Services is don't give them an inch. You don't cooperate. You don't give them a time of the day. You say, sorry, I'm not going to do that without a warrant. Sorry, I'm not going to do that without a warrant. And they have to close their case. That's the way it is. But just the fact that I'm being attacked by so many different ways, sometimes it's unrelenting and it's very difficult to keep pursuing this. But I guess I am who I am. But
sorry about that. Sorry to hear about that, man. This is terrible, man.
Well, Owen Benjamin was talking about a scenario, a situation where people were doing that to him, calling Child Protective Services on him. So, I mean, that's these people really have no limits. They have an agenda, and I think a lot of them just adopt the idea of the ends justify the means. It's practically taught in school now.
Yeah, I actually have a bar complaint for being a flat earther.
Wow.
I can't be a competent attorney if I'm a flat earther. That was the argument. So I tell you.
That's crazy, man. This is the guy. Let me show him. I found his picture here from an old video we did about him. It's this guy here, Kelsey. Kelsey, that's the pilot. He offered his airline to fly us from Buenos Aires to Perth. When Mark Sargent and Jaden say, "Okay, we take it. How much is it? Let's book a flight." He stepped back. Like he disappeared. Yeah.
It's still one of the top videos that shows up in my feed all the time. Oh, it makes me so
Yeah,
mad.
he is. But I don't see him talking about flat Earth anymore. I think he learned his lesson.
That's got to be embarrassing. Maybe he believed it. Maybe he did. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a second. Something's wrong here.
Yeah, man. He offered to fly us. He offered, no, you just hire my airline and I will personally fly you guys from uh, Perth, Buenos Aires to Perth. And then I said, okay, let's do it. And he said, no, 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 there's no way to do it. There's no way to do it. There's no way. So talking about maps again, going back and forth, because I'm a big supporter of this map because of flight paths, and how it matches a lot. And people attack me all the time about it because I defend how do they fly so fast? Well, Ben and Robert, I live about 500 miles from Tokyo. There are four ways for me to get to Tokyo. I can go by car, drive for like 7 hours. I can take the local train and get there in 6 hours. I can take the bullet train, get there in 2 hours. But I can take an airplane and get there in 1 hour. Okay, so what determines the how fast I get there is by the way I travel, not the physical. Like Tokyo and me, we don't shrink places, so we can get there faster. Okay, so what happened is they ignore the fact that there are airplanes that fly faster. And an example I always give is like look at the Air Force One. So if you know about the Air Force One, it's a 747-200. Okay, now, is it like the other 747-200? No, it flies faster, at least 130 miles faster than the regular 550 miles per hour, the 747-200 flies. So the Air Force One flies at around 660 miles per hour, 680. All right. So how about the range? Well, a regular 747-200 flies from DC to Tokyo nonstop. But the Air Force One flies from DC all the way to Shanghai in China, which is way more distant, man. You know? So don't they have 787s flying from Sydney to Santiago that fly faster than the regular 787? Of course they do. Okay, of course. They just don't tell us. They don't let us know. If you don't research about Air Force One, you won't know. Okay, it's not
That's
written there.
fascinating.
Okay, this plane flies faster than the others. No, so they will not tell us. If that 787 that flies from Sydney to Santiago flies at a faster speed than the other ones, which I believe it does. It's not because Ben and Robert, for example, uh, a flight from DC to Shanghai, they fly with a 777, which has a range of 13,000 kilometers. But they don't fly a 777 from Sydney to Santiago. They gotta use the 787, which flies 15,000 kilometers or something like, and a much greater speed. Why don't they just get a 777 fly from Sydney to Santiago? They can't.
Very
And
good
just like
point.
you said about Hervé Riboni, the land areas in the south is much greater, it's much more spread out.
Also, they're flying a plane at around 550 miles an hour is the stated speed from Sydney to Australia. I'm sorry, from Chile to Sydney, and the plane is rated for almost 1,100 miles an hour, and
Wow.
that's not even taking into account the 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 wind speed that they could get up to what 300 miles more per hour. So they have a lot of room to play.
Yeah. So
Now,
definitely, by what I heard from my friends in Brazil, like we got a guy. He was a good programmer, and he developed this app. And he took the flights from Chile to Sydney, the opposite side. And he shared with me some of these his findings, but he could not make it public. He was threatened. They just like we. I have daughters, and you guys have kids, probably. Somebody took a picture of his daughter and sent to him and say, "Oh, if you love your daughter, don't make this public." He quit
If
his
I also
channel.
change my story, and that might be what did it. So don't ever believe me if also I change my story on a time like that, because unfortunately that's the limit I have.
Yeah, yeah. So he told me, man, I'm sorry, I cannot go along with this. I cannot make public what my findings. They got close to my family, and he quit his. I mean, he still has his channel, but has been inactive for like 2 years. You
What's the
know,
channel name?
I'll find it. It's in Portuguese. It's Brazilian Portuguese. It's not American. It's Brazilian. We talk through WhatsApp. So I gotta go to WhatsApp and get his channel. But I'll send it to you, man. And that's the situation. He had to quit, and he was a biblical flat earther, but extremely knowledgeable in computers, and he developed his own app, and he took these flights. And one thing he shared with me, it's that the GPS there, the geographical positioning system, as I call, is not the same as the others. It's like a military graded kind. It's not the same one that everywhere else on the plane. That area, it's a different system, totally different. That's the only thing he shared with me and said, I cannot share anything else.
Interesting.
Maybe a different coordinate system.
You're right. Perhaps it's totally different, man. So, and also I had someone who shared with me from Australia. He flew from Australia, as a pilot, and he tried to fly the route. He was not allowed. I mean, you got to be like a military pilot to be able to fly that, You cannot just be a regular pilot with no military background. That's what I learned. All right, let me see what's going on here in the chat. So a lot of Mike Smith. So hello again to you, Gianna Spice. Good, nice. Always here with us.
Mikey Smith, that commenter, he actually has a really good video on. I think it was Sirius. Star.
He does. He wants me to
that one. I haven't seen anyone else like that, and a lot of them they're out of focus and stuff like that. So I don't go along with a lot of what people say, but that one's very interesting.
Yeah, he was the one who was firing some laser beams on the moon. Was the first guy I saw doing that actually, and I wanted to buy his one, but it's kind of expensive for me to buy from the U.S. and have it shipped here to Japan. But he has like a nice laser beam that he points to the moon, and he actually it shows there, man. Pretty good stuff. Let's see what else.
I have to bail out. I've got some family obligations and stuff that's going on, and so
that's fine.
But anyway, thank you for the invite, and it's been a pleasure talking with both of you. And it's good meeting you, Robert. And anyway, enjoy your evening.
Thanks, Ben. Anytime, man. Next month I'll be back for 2 more shows. We're gonna do 2 shows only a month. Thank you, Ben, for being here. It's a pleasure too. All right. So let's go back.
Ben, if you need any maps to help some of your presentations, just reach out.
All right, Robert. We do appreciate. I downloaded the latest version you have. It's 3.4, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I downloaded. What I did, Robert, soon, and the thing is, let me explain what's going on here. I had I live in Japan, and I have my family here, my wife and my 2 daughters, and Japan is a nice place, safe, but the economy in Japan has been bad. The Chinese automakers, they're trying to break Toyota in many parts, lead them bankrupt. There was a cyber attack a couple of months ago. Toyota Japan stopped working for a couple of days. They got back. Now there was another problem. Now in February, they closed down for 2 weeks. So my wife works for the company, which is does some supplying to Toyota. So if Toyota stops, it's like a octopus. All the tentacles stop. If the head stops, everything else stops. So my wife was actually home for 2 weeks because the company said, well, there's nothing for us to do. If Toyota is not working, we cannot do any work. So she still got paid like 60%, of her salary. They don't pay 100%, but they paid her 60% per
Hmm.
day, you know. And at the same time, man, that's been going on since the whole C-19 started. And I had this problem in Brazil. Like my parents are still living. My daddy was born in 1932. He's like 93 years old. My mom is 85, and my sister takes care of them. And my sister, she fell down and she broke her hip. Okay, which led her to be on a wheelchair. So it got complicated. I had to hire a nurse from here. Being here, trying to do things over there. So things got tight for me. I'm still working, but since I myself am not doing well, sometimes I have to cancel classes and I have to refund students. You got a little bit heavy on my shoulder. So ever since I started doing flat earth stuff, man, 2016, I never had a PayPal, I never had a Paytune, never had a store, never cared, never needed. But things got a little bit complicated, so I set up this store, and I do your version. Other people send their versions. I have the European versions, and everybody has a store. They were all selling that stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up a store, doing T-shirts, and David Wise helped promoting a little bit. And but still things are not okay. You know why? Because the company that was making all that stuff, man, they were not paying us the us people who hire them to do it. So man, that was complicated. All the Christmas sales and stuff, and they were not repassing this money to us, and things got complicated. But I don't know if things will ever go back to normal. I don't know. We don't know. The future is so uh, uncertain at the moment. So that's why I set up a store and I got your version. I had Dimitri version, and Dimitri said it's okay, you can do it. But I mean, that's not the main thing of the online store. The T-shirts are designs and mugs, all that stuff. So it's just to help out. $100 a month that I can make, I send straight to my parents. Whatever profit I can make. But here I'm okay. Here in Japan, I can make enough to get us. Even if my wife loses her job, I can still carry things on. But to support another family in Brazil, man, this is kind of heavy for me. You know.
Well, I'm glad you put it on your store. I wanted it to get out there, and I didn't really have the time or interest in selling it myself. So, yeah, by all means, sell as many as you can. Get it out there to everyone. And
Thanks so much.
yeah, I'm happy if it helps your family. Uh, and I hope it really helps the community, because when you see these things, it just makes a lot more sense. What for me, like I'm a visual learner in a lot of ways, so that's why I was connected with maps. And when I saw the Gleason's map the first time, I said, "Wow, that just makes so much more sense than the globe." And then after doing all the curvature tests and seeing all the other tests that were done, it was just like uh, it. I'm sure it's a lot more complicated than we have here, and there's no Mount Meru on the Gleason map. It doesn't have those four central continents that the old Mercator map has, the 1600 or so map. So yeah, there's some stuff that's being hidden, And I'm kind of curious if there's some continents in the South Pacific, or I don't know about the North Pacific, but it seems like the South Pacific is missing something when you look at it. It just seems too way open.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting time.
It is.
This is a great tool. So
Yeah. Now this is the 1514 Portuguese flat Earth map, Robert, and it does resemble, what we have today. So this pattern or this design has been going on for many years.
Huh.
Now they had already knowledge of Australia, this area. They had not mapped it around, but they had been there, and many things I found. This is the 1514. They had been South America, around Africa and Asia, everywhere. So it is design. That's why I still like the Gleason's map, because it keeps the same design as we have now. Of course, are there more lands? I don't know, but possibly. But how far can we go? I don't know either. I have an idea that we can go 3,000 miles beyond the 75th parallel south. 3,000 miles the limit, according to Flat Earth Clues. And when they found, have you seen that the airplanes crash into the invisible barrier? Have you seen that video?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I heard the stories with Admiral Byrd, but I didn't see the video on. Unless, are you talking about that?
All right. So very interesting. I want to play this one to you. Let me find. I have here my list, and definitely, man, the planes there, they were crashing into some sort of invisible barrier. So there, in my opinion, there must be a barrier somewhere. So I want to play that video. I do have here, right here. Let's watch it.
What do we know about Operation High Jump, about Admiral Byrd's expedition? It was a massive naval operation that involved an aircraft carrier, several battleships, an armed submarine, and probably another 20 supply and battleships. It involved 4,000 troops, U.S. troops, and the rumor is that there were also British and Russian contingents within these 4,000 troops. It was a massive naval operation. It was not, as it has been presented to the public, that it was a peaceful expedition to explore the natural resources of the South Pole. But even more so, he found, to his amazement, that his planes were disappearing very quickly. A lot of his planes, a lot of them crashed into invisible barriers and disintegrated in mid-flight.
Later reports indicated that Admiral Byrd was given 8 months and unlimited funding to go in and pull this thing successfully off. But we also know that within 8 weeks he was totally defeated.
And in an interview at Buenos Aires on his way back, Admiral Byrd made the incredible statement that the Third World War would probably be with an adversary coming from the polar regions of...
That was from the UFO community, and they were, that's from the 70s. This video is from the 70s. So, they were saying that his planes were crashing into some sort of barrier. So it's hard, man. We don't know anything. It sucks, sucks.
Well, the launches by Elon Musk seem to indicate that. Like it looks like it's scraping across the firmament, and what is it? In the Bible it says the 7 levels of heaven, I believe, and it would make sense. Again, different densities, different density levels. Maybe it's kind of like a plasma at the height that they're shooting these rockets, and it gets denser and denser as it gets colder. Makes total sense. If it gets colder, it's going to get more solid. So from plasma to liquid, and then eventually to
Solid.
so hard that nothing could get through it.
Definitely right. Yeah, yeah. So shout out here, Yashadel, concentric difference. Lots of good friends here. So yeah, that's my idea. But unfortunately, we are not allowed to know anything, and we will die not knowing. We're gonna go into this great uh, unknown because it's interesting. How life is. You're gonna die and not knowing exactly where you lived. Where you spent your whole life. You know, we need.
But
Go ahead, Robert.
I think that's one of the beautiful things here is we get to explore. We'll never know the whole thing while we're here. When we go back to God, I believe we'll have a better picture. We'll have a better
Yeah.
understanding. Then maybe we come back here again.
Yes, or we will know from wherever we are how this thing really looks like, you know.
Mm.
And also, if according to the Bible, everything is going to be done again, like the hills will be leveled and the mountains will be leveled. So I don't know, man. This thing is going to change.
Yeah, sure. Seems like everything
Right?
is on a huge cycle that we don't even understand, which makes it really funny to talk about global warming or climate change because uh, what kind of perspective on a cycle could we even have if most of us don't believe that the Earth has been here for billions of years anymore. But if that's their story and they have 100-year sample of data, how can they be saying that we're going into global warming? It's kind
Yeah.
of laughable.
Yeah, it is, man. And then you get those magazines from the 70s and 80s when they say, oh, everybody was going to freeze in 10, 20 years. uh,
Well, Al Gore said the whole east coast of the United States would be underwater. What did he say by 2005, 2010? I think he probably just kept changing it. If anybody
yeah.
listens to him, so
Yeah.
we're used to the lies now. But
Yeah.
we're able to learn so much now as all these different people do tests and are able to find so much more. Uh, uh, I really like Austin Whitsett's work and the Glowbusters. They do all this Glowbuster tech and a lot of interesting stuff. Where now that they're looking at electromagnetics and electrostatics as being the force of the Earth. And once we uncover that, there's going to be a lot more free energy technology that's going to pop up, which is super cool.
Don't know if we had a guy here at Seven Club. He's big on TikTok. He's not a YouTuber, but he's on TikTok, and he was talking about what's the name of the propulsion? The propulsion. What's it called? I think I have something here. It's the propulsion,
Ionic.
uh, electromagnetic propulsion system that some
Mm.
aircraft does. Pretty interesting. He went to Vika's show and he was there talking about that for like 2 hours. And he posted a short video also on TikTok. Talks about of course it's secret, they don't tell us, but it's like a Freedom of Information Act document stating of this uh, aircraft propulsion system that's totally based on electromagnetism. You know, pretty interesting. Yeah. So it's hard to find truth, but sometimes we do find, you can just gotta searching and, All right. So I'm going to just make a quick announcement here. So guys, if you all want to support this channel, see whatever is going on. So just let me share my screen one more time here. Just go to any of my videos, okay? Any of my, and when you click there, there's a whole bunch of stuff here, links. You can many free downloads here. 81 government documents admitting flat Earth, 240 scriptures proving flat Earth, flight route memes booklet, geometries, restore Gleason's maps here. And this folder has Robert's as well. So Dimitri put everything inside this folder. And my free, there is a free Amelia Earhart flight route, free 16 emergency landings. But if you want to support the channel, there's some ways here you can buy a map or buy any item in my store like t-shirts, mugs, whatever. Or if you want to consider becoming a patron, I only have 4 patrons, so you could help a little bit or, I appreciate all that stuff. So, so I made a video this week, Robert. I don't know if you had the chance of seeing about airplanes flying backwards, so ridiculous, man. The way, like, all we have to do is watch. I don't have the animation here, do I? Let me see. Yeah, I do. For some reason, I'm using my phone as my camera, and it disappears. So I hope you can see. So this guy claimed, and I've been talking to him. He's a pilot, 747 pilot, and he's a glow pilot. We've been talking back and forth, and the idea that when I fly from Los Angeles to Tokyo, that I fly backwards, because this is the flat Earth right here. But on the ball Earth, you have got to believe that while it's taking 10 hours to fly from LA, the plane is also going backwards, So this is completely crazy to me, that instead of flying forward like you'll see on the flat Earth, my airplane is going backwards while trying to reach Japan, So this is just crazy. It's a video I put out this week. So
it's crazy that they got us believing that air is velcroed to an Earth that spins 1,000 miles an hour. Velcroed somehow, even though gravity doesn't pull sideways, and there's still wind side to side, back and forth.
Yeah, man.
It's the programming. The only way to do it is to get us when we're young to fall for this, and once we start to see, it's so obvious. It's really a laugh.
It is. So. All right, guys, we're approaching about, my show is normally about 75 minutes. We are 90 minutes now. Don't want to take much of Robert's time. It's 11:24 a.m. Monday morning here in Japan. It's just a, Monday morning things to do. So, Robert, I do appreciate, brother, you being here today, taking some time off, sharing your knowledge, your ideas. You're always welcome here. Anytime you want to join us. I'm going to have Russian vids next month. I always enjoy having him along the show because he always brings some insight, different insight. And I'm going to have also Matthew Hakim explaining his whole experience with Mactoon. So you can use your mic now and say your last words to everyone else.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, Eddie. And if anybody has any questions or requests for maps, you can find me on YouTube under Robert Tazi. I think it's just at Robert Tazi spelled out. And yeah, any ideas that could help the community, I'm interested in.
Hey, Robert, I wanna have a request, man. Let me see if I find it here real quick. I don't know if you know that guy. I probably don't have it right off my head. I don't have in this computer. So, Charles, what's his name? The guy from International Flat Earth Research Society, Charles something. He had a version of the Flat Earth map. You know, it looks like the Gleason's map, but it's sideways. It's like the Australia is down here. You know, it's a little bit different. It's a
Hmm.
different version. It's a quite simple map. It's black and white. You know, there's no colors at all, just black and white. But I wonder if something, in the future, if you could working on a restoration of that map, because you already have everything else got to do is black and white. He doesn't have the time. It's just the map itself. But
Hmm.
he put a lot of effort. He was one of the pioneers. It's Charles Johnson, Charles T. Johnson, something like that, or Johnson. And let me show, guys. I'm gonna run my. Hold on, Robert. 3 more minutes. I'm gonna run this ad here real quick, and he is in this video here. Okay, so let's watch this, and then we will close it after that.
96. It's a big boy. So I got two big guests, big names, big bodies.
Huge.
Yeah, I don't even know if I introduce you to. You got Rampage the Legend Jackson here. You got Bradley. Meet me at 260. Martin.
How much you weigh right now?
Why people care if people believe in the earth the way the Bible describes it? Why do people get so mad about that?
Does the Bible describe it as flat?
Yeah,
It does?
with the dome, the firmament, and everything.
Oh, that's news to me.
That's you never read the Bible?
No.
That's the problem.
That is a problem. That's why I go to hell.
So why do people get mad at people if they just describe the earth the way the oldest history book describes it?
Yeah. So does this mean you think it's flat?
Yep.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
But what were you gonna say about?
This is what changed me when I looked into emergency landings. Something simple as that. That's what changed me to go more to like, oh yeah. Then I went to the Bible and started reading with the Bible. You know, I used to be a Christian, so I was like, oh, I've read this stuff before, but we think of it different. I went there. Now I look at the Old Testament like a history book, and so I went and read it and like a history book. I was like, oh, okay, it broke everything down for me. But if you look into whenever you have time, just look into emergency landings.
What do you mean by emergency landing?
Like when say somebody's flying from Asia coming to LA,
yeah, they have to
and
land
like if it's an emergency or
Yeah.
something, and then see like the way they land, and then you gonna think like, wow, that's not an emergency land. They went all the way out the way, and then you got to break down why did they do that? Why they go all the way out the way, and they say it's an emergency landing. That's what changed my mind.
Why would they go all the way?
Exactly. That's the point.
Exactly.
But why would that prove that the Earth is flat if you go out of the way?
Because if it was an emergency, a real emergency, wouldn't you go somewhere closer
When you go somewhere closer,
and not somewhere out of the way?
when we see the emergency landing on the globe, it don't make sense.
Oh, because it's like this.
Yeah, so it's
like
farther away.
Yeah.
So common sense would tell me that we're being lied to about the geography of our things.
Why
So
lie to us about the Earth being round though?
that's the big question.
Don't waste any more time. Visit the links above now and order my book 16 Emergency Landings Proving Flat Earth. Visit my online store now and order the new enhanced Gleason's Flat Earth map. This map used to be in every school and library in the nation before NASA was created in 1958, when the maps were ordered removed. Have your Gleason's map hanging on the wall in your house where no government can take it down. Here you see it hanging on a wall in the house of the late Charles K. Johnson. Here is a quote from the book 1984 by George Orwell. Every record has been destroyed or falsified, every book rewritten, every picture has been repainted, every statue and street building has been renamed, every date has been altered, and the process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Order your map now.
All right, guys. Also, get your app. If you don't have, get your app today. So that's Charles K. Johnson. He had a version, and I'll send it to you a link. Actually, the map. The only thing that you can leave it off is his address because his house burned out. That house they burned out. He had like a library. They burned his house. Yeah, man. So he lost everything. And then eventually he died. He had a problem, heart problem. His wife died. And, until Derek Dubé took over IFERS again. But he was the president of IFERS. And after he died, there was nobody else until Eric Dubé started again. So I'll send it to you. So,
Yeah.
Robert, thank you so much, bro. Go ahead and say your words again.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I'll take a look at it and see if we could do something useful with it. I'm not sure how it's different from Gleason's, but if it's something that is interesting and helpful, sure.
Yeah, it's just for some people, they like it to collect different maps, and they request like the European version. This guy from shout out to him, Stefan from Romania. He had an European where they switch. The Brazil is right here, and Australia is over here. So I don't know. It's an European version. It's like the United Nations symbol.
Yeah, you also have the guy who made it into a clock somewhere in Europe.
From Scandinavia, somewhere in Finland, I guess. Yeah. He sent me one. I have it on display, but I don't have room here in my living. This apartment is small, so it's in the closet.
I have
So,
to get
Robert,
myself one of the.
yeah, he should send you one, man. I had to pay shipping, and the problem now, shipping used to be cheap before, man. It was like $70 for shipping. I said, man, this is a lot of money.
He offered it to me, actually, so I have to reach out to him and send him the updated version of the map. But yeah, I'd love to have one of those.
Yeah,
But
it's a
thank you
nice
again.
one, but the shipping is expensive. You can expect about 60 to $70.
Okay.
Thank you, Robert. Thanks so much. Thank everybody for being here today. All right, so I'm gonna remove both of us and close with a song by Dave J. Carroll. Thank you, Robert. I'll see you perhaps in another month or so. We'll be back, okay?
All right. Be well. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. So everyone else, goodbye. I'll see you guys next month. I'll be taking a couple of weeks off just to rest, take care of my health, but we'll be back with 2 more shows in March. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you next month. Let's listen to Dave J. Carroll.
Wonderful, magical, celestial light, fantastical, mystical, wonderful sight. Belgian Swiss physicist Auguste Piccard, 1931, first to reach for the stars, was the first to explore the air view stratospherius, a scientist curious to see what was there. An aluminium black ball on a helium balloon, with photos and instruments, sailed towards the moon, rose in just half an hour, 52,000 feet, 10 miles up, 10 temperature, left for dead, trapped in heat and cold, but disproving gravity. Wonderful, mystical, beautiful sight, flat line separation of black from blue light, a world run by deceivers, false make-believers, hiding in shadows, stealing our light. Mystical, fluorescent light, wonderful celestial light. So what was their eternal testimony? What did they report back to humanity? Said it seemed like a flat disk far as eyes can see, with an upturned edge fading into infinity. A mystical, ethereal, celestial sight, a divine creation, a clockwork of light, designed hid by deceivers and false make-believers, still cowering in shadows, still fearing our light. Here we go, higher than Everest, higher than airplanes, above zero cumulus, higher than air. A level horizon, 360 around us, no motion beneath us, no spinning, no stars on the firmament, turn along around us to forever show time as geometrically there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, forever beneath us, we see through you like air. Mystics on a luminous light, fantastical, magical, bright. We see through you like air. Magical angels of light, beautiful, wonderful, celestial light. The first to see truth when they reach for the stars, explorers and physicists, Kipper and Picard. Never you'll defeat us, forever beneath us, we see through you like air.